Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Wildflower Wolves YouTube channel. I'm Louise. It is Monday, February 17th. It is a family day here, so it has been a long weekend. It's been a great day. It's been a great weekend to knit or crochet all around because it has been a snow weekend most of the weekend. So, as always, we could talk about my sweater. I have a finished sweater. I'm playing around with shawl pins or crochet hooks. Um, so we'll talk about what you were voting for. We'll talk about finished items, things that I'm working on. Sock Madness has started. Sweater Month still continues over on the Fiber Friends podcast. It is going to be a busy, busy rest of the month. So, as far as what you all were voting for, let me grab my phone. Hi, everybody. I see some people coming in here. Hope everybody has had a great Monday, great start to the week, maybe with a bit of knitting. I'm pretty sure most of us here probably have had a dumping of snow over the weekend. So that is probably that seems to be the topic of conversation wherever you are, whoever you're chatting with is like, how much snow do you have? Some people the snow is like up to the height of their cars. We didn't get it that bad here, but this is the most snow I have ever had since I have lived in this house. Okay. Oh, okay. I am looking here at what you were voting for. Gonna have to do this a little differently. Okay, that's fine. So who's here? Cindy. Cold and drifting snow. Yep. Hi, Wendy. Snowy Lake Huron, just north of Goderich. Roads are all closed again. Yes, seems like that's the way a lot of things are. Oh, Susanna, not in Calgary? Well, that's good. Hopefully, you won't get it later on in the week. Oh, baby kitten, finishing your pressed flower. So is that the shawl? You said kerchief. So is that the shawl? There's a cowl, there's a hat, there's a sweater, there's socks too. Lovely. Pressed flowers. That's a great project. Hi, Alice and Liz. Hi, Nikki. Okay, so I was just trying to pull up here what you were voting for. I haven't tried sharing my screen on my new laptop, and I don't feel like trying it tonight because I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to show you. I'm just going to do this. So this is the slip stitch hat pattern. So this morning, like every Monday morning, this Monday was a little bit different. It started out way different than it should have, but that's another story for another time. I started looking at Ravelry at like 4 a.m. this morning, and this is one of the patterns that popped up. It is in the what is it? Hot right now front page on Ravelry. It's been there all day. Mostly because, well, no, I should not say mostly because, partly because I'm sure, partly because it looks like a super cute pattern, but it is also free until tonight. So if you guys want to go grab this hat pattern, put it into your Ravelry library. It's called Snow Carved Beanie. The designer is Benjamin Matthews. I'll show it to you again. So I think it is just there's a code you have to put in. I'm not sure what the actual pattern or the price of the pattern is, but if you want to grab it, sometimes you all know I definitely um like supporting designers and paying for patterns. And the patterns I pick for the New Start Mondays is never determined if it was a free or paid for a pattern. That's the last thing. Most times I don't even look at that at all. I just go by what the pattern is, what yarn weight it is, and that kind of thing. So, but sometimes it is nice just to treat yourself to a free pattern. And sometimes that's nice if this is a good way to try out some new designers. I have never heard of Benjamin Matthews before, and I didn't take a look to see what other um, patterns he has, but that's a good way to get introduced to a new designer. So this hat, This was the one on the left, so this was a slip stitch. When I put up the voting, I said it was left or right, there was slip stitch or there was cables. So this one here is the slip stitch, and slip stitches are always fun, and then it has that really fun kinda, like, triangle T part just above the brim, which just makes it a little bit more unique than a lot of slip stitch patterns. So there was this one, and let's see, I might as well, since I have it up here, let me just tell you a little bit about it. So it was just published, like, probably, um, like, in the last couple of weeks, February 2025. Suggested yarn is Malabrio Rios, so a worsted weight yarn, 4 millimeter needle, 160 yards is what he is estimating. Says it's one size. One size fits most adults. And it says, again, it's free until the end of day February 17th with the coupon code SNOW. So if you're watching live tonight and you want to go grab it, might be a fun little project. Um, oh, and there's some other discounts there too if you want to read that. So the Snow Carved Beanie uses only knits, pearls, and slip stitches to create a bold texture that reminded me of snow sculptures. The double brim provides for extra warmth. Yeah, so there you go. So there was, oh, Mary said she just got it. Lowercase snow. Oh, okay, yes, maybe that makes a difference. Lowercase snow. Okay, kind of perfect. What did he say? Carved, snow sculptures? Well, that's, like, kind of perfect for what most of us could be doing for the next coming week or more until all this snow goes away. So anyways, that was option 1. The other one was a cable, and let me see if I have Choppy Waters cap. Now, this is just a screenshot, but if you didn't see the voting, that was it right there. A really cute cabled pattern. I remember this one here has been out, I think, from since 2022. So it is not a new pattern, but it was also in the trending this morning at like 4 or 5 a.m. So I don't know why people, maybe somebody else had mentioned this on a podcast. Maybe somebody was using it as a knit along pattern. Not sure why it was kind of in the trending, but I mean it's super cute and it's great and it's wintry and it's winter and it's cold out and everybody needs a cabled hat. Choppy Waters cap. I'm pretty sure it was a worsted weight yarn as well. Um, Anyways, those were the 2. We had 140 147 votes today, which is quite a bit for us, and it was pretty close. It was, well, sorta close. Um, it was fairly close. The, there was lots of votes for both projects. Some people were saying slip stitches might be quicker. Some people thought slip stitches might be warmer because you get that double thickness. Some people said do cables because cables are always fun. Some people said do not do cables because the Sock Madness project is cable. Um, so there was lots of reasons for either one. Some people thought the slip stitch pattern just looked a little different and just thought that it would be a fun project. Let's see. Oh, hi. Jude. Jude is chatting. Oh, Jocelyn is in here. Something about a hood. Hoods look cute. Hi, Sam. Anyways, so yeah, there was a lot of votes, but the majority, I think, I was gonna say I thought it was closer, but I'm thinking I figured out the votes, and I think it was 86% went to the winning project, which does kind of seem one-sided, doesn't it? Oh, hi, Susanna. Um, anyway, so the project that I'm casting on, and I have not figured out the yarn yet, but let me show you. I'll show you the picture here again. So the project that is the winning hat for this week is the snow carved beanie. So in the end, those slip stitches beat out the cables for a little while there. When I was tallying up all the votes, it was pretty close. There was, 3 for here, 4 for here, kind of thing, back and forth. But in the end, the slip stitch won out, which maybe is okay because, like, a few people said the Sock Madness sock is cabled. I won't get cabled out before I get the socks finished then. So do slip stitches and cables this week. So that is going to be a lot of fun. So now I do not know what my yarn is going to be. You guys, I've got like 100 balls I could pick from in here. Well, probably not too much of an exaggeration. And looking at a whole bunch. Um, yeah, I got lots and lots to choose from. I'm gonna look through my stash. I'm not gonna go buy something just for this. This sounds like this a one skein project looks like a good stash project. So I have got quite a few balls of Patton's Classic Wool. There's some Impeccable. There's more Classic Wool. There's quite a few. So I will post a picture. I'm gonna just, I don't know, think a little bit about it, see what I can find. Maybe a nice bright color would be fun. Ooh, okay. Cindy's saying icy blue would be nice or cream. It would. Cream. I've got some white. I've got a fern green color. There's some navy. There's pumpkin orange. I don't know if I'll use that though. I don't know. I got lots to choose from. So that's not a rush because Sock Madness is started. So that is going to be the focus for the next couple of days for sure. Okay, so that's the hat. So go grab it if you want to cast on with me because that would be fun. And the cabled hat, I think I'm just going to hold on to that pattern and because that would be a fun one to do at another time. Oh, Nikki says it looks like a fun hat. It does, doesn't it? Oh, baby kitten just got the pattern. Might be your next make. Fantastic. That's good. I'm glad a few people have grabbed it. That's good. Cindy said I didn't vote. Oh, I didn't vote, so I vote for number 2. So the cable one, Cindy? I mean, you can't really go wrong, right? Cables or slip stitches, they're all really, really fun. So let's talk a bit about, okay, I grabbed just as I was coming up here. I'm trying to find a shawl pin for my sweater, my bulky weight sweater, my 2-week sweater knitting challenge sweater is finished. I got it done in 2 weeks and I picked a bulky weight because I knew I was going to have a very busy work week. Those 2 weeks of our okay, not exactly perfect for a sweater, but it'll do for right now. And so I knew I wanted something that I wasn't gonna have to stress about that I could get done, but in the end, I did have to do a bit of, um, panic knitting to get it done because I did have a few days and nights that I didn't work on this sweater over the 2 weeks at all because it was either a super late work day, I came home and I was just exhausted and just could not knit, which doesn't happen very often. And then there was a couple times I thought, "Oh, it's bulky yarn. It's a size 9 millimeter needle. I'm not gonna have to knit, like, every night on it because I knew it would not take me the full 2 weeks to get done. So and then, of course, so in the end, it was a little bit of a rush to try and get it finished, but I did, and I have to say I love it. So this is Carol. I'm not sure if I saw Carol in the comments. Oh, yes, Carol is there. Hi, Carol. And so this is Carol's pattern that she wrote out for me, and I knit, and it was such a great pattern that Carol, you wrote up. There's short rows for the neck shaping. The sleeves have the cute balloon sleeves, so it's just all one size and then just decreases down at the end. And I opted for this yarn. This was just some yarn that I had. You guys, I am really, really, really putting a push on for a few things this year, and one of them is knitting up my stash. And this yarn quite literally is in the first cubby hole that's over here. And I just feel like I just need to go cubby by cubby by cubby and just knit, knit, knit and get some of the stuff knit. So I'm not sure why I bought this. It came from Spin Rate. It came from the seconds bin. I know that because there was no ball bands on it. So I don't know what it is. It'll be 100% acrylic of some sort, a Bernat yarn, maybe a Karen's, maybe a Patton's, and a number 6 bulky weight. I ended up going with a 9 millimeter needle. I had thought I would try a 10, but then it just seemed a little bit too loose. So I ended up with a 9. And it's great. So it is nice and bulky. It is super, super warm, especially on days like this when you can just hear the wind howling outside and you just want to cuddle up in something. So I think I made it a little bit longer than what Carol had made her sweater. So I'm not sure if I can stand up. I probably can't. I'm probably too close. I can't really show you, but anyways, it comes down to hip length. Sorry, I thought I had a little bit more room here to back up, but I would just have to post some pictures of it. But it is super cozy. It was a fun project, and it just goes to show you that you can knit a sweater in 2 weeks if you use big enough yarn. So Jocelyn and I chatted Friday night, and Jocelyn made a really good attempt on hers. Jocelyn, what was it? Was a DK sweater, wasn't it? And I think Jocelyn next year is going to try for a fingering. That is, you can tell when Jocelyn talks about it, that is where her excitement is. She really wants to push herself to do a fingering weight sweater in 2 weeks. So, and I know for next year, I probably am not gonna do a bulky weight again. I am definitely going to do no, well, I shouldn't say definitely, but I'm definitely well, I'm very strongly thinking about either a worsted, maybe a DK, probably a worsted. Is what I want to do next year as a little bit more of a challenge. Really set aside those 2 weeks and just focus, focus, focus and see what I can get done. But I'm really happy that I have this because this just gives me another great, cozy, warm sweater just to pull on when I'm just, out and about anywhere. It'll be a great gardening sweater and the out in this in when the spring or going for walks. Yeah, I'm excited. This sweater was gonna get lots of wear. Okay. Um, Jocelyn said I popped in to see if the hat style won, and it did. Sadly, back to video editing. Okay, we'll see you Friday, Jocelyn. I know, it's always exciting to see what you voted for, if it won or not. So, yep, the slip stitch pattern is the one that's gonna get cast on for this week. So, I've gotta finish, you guys. I'm super excited. A sweater done, that's good. I wanna have a few sweaters this year, so one is already finished. So, you guys, I am also super excited to tell you that my whiteboard is completely up to date except for today's projects, and which there's 2 of. And Ravelry is completely up to date with all of my projects for 2025. So there should be 9 projects on the whiteboard that I have started in 2025, and tonight I'll add 2 more. I started my Sock Madness socks today, which is project 10 for 2025, and the slip stitch hat is gonna be project 11 for 2025. I'm gonna do a very good job of keeping track of my projects this year. That is one of my goals, and everything is up to date, and I feel pretty excited about that. Sam, I saw some talk in here about your dishcloths. Do I see something like 30? Oh, I have 32 dishcloths done. Fantastic, Sam. Okay, so my sweater, 2 week sweater is done. If we take a look, oh my, okay, you guys, I keep forgetting to bring up my lava flow cowl. I forgot to bring it up last week because I had grafted it all together, and oh my goodness, you guys. I like opened up my phone to look at a picture and weather advisory came across the top of my screen. I'm like, are you kidding? If we get more snow, people are just going to like hibernate until April. Okay. I do not have the actual cowl. You might have, so I did post a picture of it. I wore it today. So there it is. I went out for a walk in the snow. So there it is, done. I can't seem to remember to bring the actual project up here to show you, but it is done. I have been wearing it. It's great. I love it. It's something I would definitely make again. So that's been done. What else did I work on this week? Oh, hi Debbie. Oh, thanks. I really love that cowl. So it is stash yarn. I like down here underneath my snowman and the shelves down here is where my stash of DK weight yarn is. I don't have a ton of it, and I used 52 grams is what I weighed for the yellow cowl. And I don't know if I was when I do it again, I may make it just like an inch or two longer. Definitely would not want it any shorter, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad the way it is. Um, so yeah, it came out of my stash. It was DK weight. Again, Patton's DK Classic Wool Superwash. This is the other project. This was from a couple of weeks ago. Oh, when is it? February 3rd. Had to take a peek at my whiteboard there. So February 3rd. So was that two weeks, 2 Mondays ago? Was the brioche cowl. And it is coming, and this could be finished. I just kept going on it because I thought what I would do, because it's brioche and because it's reversible, I thought that, okay, I might just wear it, make it a little bit longer, and then just fold it over at the top. So just pretend the needles aren't there. Be something like this. So usually I just make my cowls short, small around and short. So it is just I pull over and it's just something like this. Snug around the neck and just like that. But this one here, I don't know, I just got knitting it and it's very rhythmic, very relaxing. This just doing a plain brioche like this is kind of like a Netflix binge watching knit night project for me. So I thought this would be a good way to just show off that it is completely reversible, because otherwise it's reversible, but if I just wear it like this, which is fine. Anyways, I thought I would just do something like this. So I'm just making a little bit longer. So maybe I don't know. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. This is Cascade 220 and two colors. So obviously there's a light blue and a dark blue. I don't know what the color names are, but this is what I've got left. So I'm just going to keep going for a little bit longer. I just honestly, this has been my project where if I need to take a break from something else, I just pick this up and I just do a couple of rounds. So I'm almost there. I'll do it a little bit longer, I think, just because. But it is so soft and squishy, you guys. I know, and I know you guys know that that is one of the great characteristics of brioche is that it is just squishy. And the Cascade 220 just feels really nice. So there it is. Fingers crossed. I don't think I've made any mistakes in it, but that is just never know. But that's okay. I think it looks okay. And I'm excited to wear this. I had thought that I would have it done for tonight, and I would have if I hadn't decided to make it a little longer and fold it over. So I've got the two-toned color going on there. So that is what I'm working on. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I really like brioche is one of my favorites. I really, really like that. Last week's project, I will show you that. There's just a teeny, teeny, tiny little start, but it's on the needles. This was yarn you voted for last week. Remember, it was called Son of a Nutcracker. It is dyed by Leo and Roxy. And it's just so fun. And the name Son of a Nutcracker just makes me laugh every time I think about it. So it's just going to be one of my favorite little shawl projects, just an asymmetrical or a boomerang shaped. So there it is. There's a start. Garter stitch. It's a 2-row repeat. 1 row, you do your shaping, you decrease on one end, you increase, which just shapes it because there's no actual, you're increasing, but you're decreasing. So there's no adding stitches. Then the next row you increase and you just repeat those 2 rows. And it's really easy because you can obviously tell which side is your increase, where your decreases are. So once you get it going, it's really, really easy. I found a ChiaoGoo needle, really nice long ones. So be able to, won't have to scrunch all my stitches onto a little short needle like I did when I was knitting this sweater. So that will be nice. I grabbed a 3.5 millimeter to go with the sock yarn. Usually I was looking for a 3.75. I have knit with a 4 as well, but a 3.5, it's in the ballpark, so it'll be fine. So that's what I'm doing with this. So this will be on the needles. I'm not going to rush to get this one done. This is just one that I just always like to have on the needles. Just pick it up. It's a good on the go project again. Knit nights, Netflix, binge watching something, if you're chatting with people, this is a project because it's really easy. There's nothing to count, there's no pattern to read. You can just look at your work and you know where you are. So it's something I always like to have on the needles, and I didn't have one. So that's why this was last week's cast on, because I thought I need to have one of these shawls and Christmas yarn. So whether this is something that I will keep for myself and wear next November, December, or I may gift it, put it in the Christmas box. Not sure. Not sure what I'll do. So right now, I'm just going to enjoy knitting it, and then I will figure out where it's going to go after that. So I started another project on the weekend. Our our guild was meeting in person for our monthly meeting, and we had to reschedule it to a Zoom meeting because of the weather, which we haven't had to cancel any in-person things in quite a while because we haven't had any kind of weather like this in quite a while. So it worked out quite well. And one of our guild members um, taught this lesson. So I had the fun of being a student instead of teaching, which was quite nice. And it was entrelac. So this is my little start of a dishcloth, just 2 colors, dishcloth cotton, I ash, and I like the colors together. I just literally up and grabbed the first 2 bottles I could find, and I just thought, because I wasn't even sure if this was going to end up being a project or not. It was just something was gonna play around with on the Zoom call, but I actually like it. I'm using 5 millimeter needles. I probably should have went with a 4, 4.5. The 5 is a little bit too loose, but you know what? It'll be fine. It will, it may be a end up being a face cloth, I'm not sure, but I will finish this because it's really fun, and once you get going with Entrelac, it is, again, very repetitive. We were practicing our knitting backwards on here so you don't turn it as you knit a square or a rectangle in this case. Um, you can just knit and then knit backwards and knit backwards and not be turning your work all the time. So it is fun. I haven't done a garter or a entrelac project in quite a while. So it was this was a fun little um what's the word? Something different. Just fun just doing something different again. So I'm going to finish this. I'm going to keep this for me either in the kitchen or as a I don't know, makeup remover cloth, spa cloth. All right, you guys, I got to take this off. It is hot. Carol. Oh, that's fun, Entrelac. I know. Oh, yes. So Carol, I always, every time we talk about Entrelac, I always talk about Carol and her sweater that she did that turned out so well. So, whew, okay. Bulky weight sweaters are hot, even if it is super cold outside. Okay, what else do I have? Oh my gosh, you guys, this might just lead me to Sock Madness. Okay, before I start talking about Sock Madness, I will just say a little bit more about the sweaters. So the 2-week sweater knitting challenge has wrapped up, but the Fiber Friends, the whole month of February is about sweater knitting. So if you still have a sweater on the needles and you want to still keep working on it till the end of the month, the Ravelry thread is open. I do apologize. I thought I had opened it. And then I realized, I think early Saturday morning, that I had not. So it is open. So for everybody who's finished their 2-week sweater, pop over to the Fiber Friends and post your picture in there and keep knitting sweaters. I was really, really tempted today to make the New Start Monday project another sweater. But then I thought better of it because Sock Madness started yesterday. The pattern came out yesterday, and I knew it would because I was not home yesterday. But and then I got storm stayed because of the weather and didn't make it home last night. I didn't get home until this morning. So, anyways, I put my sock knitting back a little bit. I had planned to get it all started and cast on yesterday, but that didn't happen till this afternoon. But that's okay. I'm going to show you the sock progress so far. It's a cabled pattern, as we were talking about earlier. And now who's in here? Nikki is working on her Sock Madness sock, I'm sure. I saw Jen. I saw you in the comments, and Jen is doing Sock Madness. Is anybody else here watching that is taking part in Sock Madness? So this is the yarn that I had pulled out. This, I had cast on part of a cuff in this yarn for something. I'm not even sure now what it was. So I just pulled the needle out and thought this will be perfect. The cable or the Sock Madness pattern is cables. And what is the name of it? Conjoined socks? Because it is we're knitting socks, 2 socks, all is one. Think of the Musselburgh hat. So, but think of socks. We're starting with the toe, foot, heel, leg, cuff, cuff, leg, a heel, foot, toe. So we've got one big long sock that gets cut. So it's going to be fun, a little scary, kind of a I don't know. Is that gonna be any less scary than steeking a sweater? I don't know. Most of the time, I would say it would not be as scary as steeking a sweater, but it's sock madness, and that makes it a little different because you can't mess it up when you cut. If I was just doing it for myself and I cut in the wrong spot, it'd be like, "Oh, whatever," you could unravel, you could pick up, you could reknit, you could do whatever. I suppose you could do that with sock madness as well, but they're just a little pickier with things. So it's gonna be a fun project. Oh, Jude, you're not playing along with sock madness this year. Oh, lifting a floor and replacing it instead. Well, that sounds like maybe something that needs to be done. And if you like that kind of, um, project, then that sounds like a fun project as well. Oh, Nikki, you're at the heel? That's so exciting. Okay, so Nikki says she's on the heel, but we have had, oh no, a family emergency. Nikki, I hope it's and now, you're knitting a gift for someone. Okay, Nikki, that doesn't I'm sorry. Okay, and you're knitting on something I don't have to think about watching. Okay, an Indoorsy sock. There you go. Well, and see, I don't wanna jinx myself, but I don't think okay, well, for starters, I haven't read the whole pattern, and I don't know if there's anything tricky with the gusset increases, but I was gonna say it doesn't look super, super tricky. I mean, it's cables and the cables are cables, right? You have to be a little bit careful, and then you do have to cut your knitting and pick up stitches. So there are a few little tricky things in there, but we have a full 2 weeks. So I think that is probably why Nikki's taking a little bit of a break, and plus she's already has half the one sock done, and we have the full 2 weeks. So, yeah, there's not quite as much pressure for this sock. So, let me show you what I did. I got a start. So, there's my yarn. I don't even know too much about this. Superba Premium Superwash 4-ply. Can't remember where I got this. Hmm, it was not one of my local yarn shops. Okay, I kind of remember, like, visiting a different yarn shop, and because I was the last couple of years, I have been on a mission kind of to pick up solid sock yarns, so when I see them, I grab them. So this was in one of my travels somewhere. I started this out because we had to start with the toe. I had, magic loop and cast on, um oh, um what is the cast on? You guys know which one. Jenny's. Jenny's not oh my gosh, this is the problem. I'm getting the 2 mixed up. The surprisingly stretchy cast off and the Judy's magic cast on. There we go, Judy's. I'm like, there's too many people's names here. Judy's magic cast on. So, did the cast on, did the increases. And the increases were done a little differently. This is the first time I've done a sock toe with increases like that, which was fun. And then now there is some ribbing on the foot. I guess it's going to go like this, isn't it? So that's where I'm at. So right now, just working around, we have to count count rows. So that's what this blue thread is here is a marking, accounting thread. So, oh, the Turkish cast on. Yeah, they're I think yeah, they're similar. But yeah, that works too. Oh, Jude says the pattern sounds fun. Sad to be missing the fun. Yes. It sounds fun. And I was catching up in all the Sock Madness, the Ravelry thread. There's two chats that are like going like crazy. There's one that is just a chat thread where people are showing off their yarn and just saying, "Hey, I got to hear," or asking some general questions. And then there is an actual question thread. If you have questions about the pattern or a technique, you can put a question in there. So I was just trying to kind of scroll through those, but there's like 700 comments or something. One of them at one point today, I think, had 18 pages of comments. And I'm like, I don't think I can catch up on that and try to knit all at the same time. So I just kind of scrolled through and, but it is definitely a good group for community. There's a lot of people in there. A lot of people like to chat. A lot of people, there's a lot of newer knitters asking questions and just getting reassurance about the pattern. So there's yeah, the mods are in there and they're always answering questions and always super helpful. And other people who are knitting along offer lots of great suggestions as well. So if you want to, just for fun, even if you're not knitting along in Sock Madness, you can just go scroll through some of the threads and just see what everybody's chatting about, and you can look at some pictures. Some people are, I don't know, there was a few people posting pictures just a little bit farther along than I was. They had a little bit more ribbing done. Some people were working on their gusset increases. So I have not seen, now I haven't really, really looked at all of the threads, but I have not seen a finished pair of socks yet. Probably tomorrow there will be. There's always a couple of super, super speedy people that just get things done so quick. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be something finished in the next few days. And, yep, I'm gonna work away on it doesn't look very impressive right now, does it? But I'm hoping I'm just gonna sit and work on this tonight. Do a little bit of put something on, binge watch something, a few episodes, and just see if I can get the foot done, a good chunk of the foot done. I don't know if I'll be able to get a whole. Oh, no, Nikki's correcting me. She says there are finished pairs, I believe. Okay. Well, it's been what, 10 a.m. Sunday to 10 a.m. today was 24 hours. And then we're almost at 10 p.m., so another 12 hours. That's time to get a whole pair of socks done, isn't it? Craziness. There are some super, super fast knitters out there. Incredible. Well, anyways, I am just, I'm gonna be happy. I just wanna qualify. I'm just not looking too far ahead, and if I don't qualify, well, it's not the end of the world either. It is just fun to try because we all know I've got enough projects, but I would like to knit all of the Sock Madness sock patterns this year because I have never done that. Even, I've knit the qualifying in round 1, maybe started round 2 socks, and then I've just collected the patterns and I've never cast them on. But I'm thinking that it would be very good practice if I want to be able to try to keep up with some of these faster knitters, that this would be, even once I get eliminated, once I get the pattern for the next round, to cast it on and try to keep up and see where I can get to before the next pattern comes out. So I'm probably going to have a whole bunch of socks on the needles because I probably will not get them finished before the next pattern comes out. But I think I'm going to try that. That is my plan. I never did get around to doing my self-imposed sock club where I was going to go and grab some sock yarn and put them in a bag and then every month just pull out one and do it. I just never got around to doing it. So maybe I will just not worry about that, and maybe I'll just work on Sock Madness socks, even if it takes me the whole year. But I wanna try and cast on when the pattern comes out, knit along with everybody until the next pattern comes out, then set it aside and come back to it later. Yeah. I don't know. I still wanna feel like I'm knitting along with Sock Madness this year, even though I know I won't be for very long in the official form, but I wanna do it unofficially as well. So that's we'll see how I make out with that. We'll see how challenging some of the patterns get, but that's my plan. Anyways, so Sock Madness, which means that pretty much everything else is gonna come to a standstill because I'm just gonna keep knitting on these socks. I'm hoping to have a little bit more knitting time this week, so I'm really hoping I can make some good progress on these socks. Now that I've got them going, I switched back to the little 9-inch circular needle because, oh my goodness, you guys, I found a long needle, like I think it was only a 32. It wasn't a 40-inch, and I thought that would be fine. Can do Judy's Magic Cast On, do the toe increases, and then I intended to put back on the 9-inch circular. The needle I grabbed to do the toe with, oh my gosh, that needle's going in the garbage after these, well, yeah, maybe tonight. Now that I'm done with it. The join on it was terrible. I spent out of the time that it took me to knit that whole toe, I bet you I spent a quarter of that time fighting with my stitches every time, every half round, fighting to get them over the join and onto the needle. My poor finger was sore from trying to push the needle one way, slide the stitches the other. Like, fighting with it is a very accurate word. Ugh, it was a horrible needle. And I didn't think it should not have been. But I mean, it wasn't a ChiaoGoo or Haya Haya, but it, it was I'm pretty sure it was a Loops and Threads needle from Michaels, and I know they're cheap needles, but I have bought them there in a pinch, like on a Sunday when the, actual yarn shops have been closed, and most of the time, I end up getting a good needle from there, and I've been pleasantly surprised. But this one here, the 2.25 millimeter needle, was not. And I don't know if it was just because it's a smaller size. Um, anyways, yeah, it's going in the garbage because I spent a quarter of my time fighting with that needle. It was not fun, and then I always go back to thinking that if I was a brand new knitter and this was my first project, I would swear up and down that I hated Magic Loop and I would never do Magic Loop again, and that's not the case. It was just the needle's fault, truly. Um, Judith's asking me, when you say all the patterns, are you including the bonus patterns? Hadn't thought about the bonus. Um, yeah, maybe I should, Jude, because it would just make it more fun, wouldn't it? The more the merrier. Sam, Louise, oh, if you come to Knitting Club on Thursday, can you bring double knitting pattern? Yes. Thank you for the reminder, Sam. I can do that. Okay, Nikki, I'm gonna have to go back and see the finished, the finished socks. That's exciting because see, now this is the time. If you finish your socks now, you still have um like 14 days. Like you still have no, okay, it can't be 14. 14 minus 2, you still have 12 days. Okay, I can do basic math. You still have 12 days now that I guess you can knit another pair of socks or 3. Um, yeah, so see, I don't want to finish too fast either. because that's not realistic for me. But anyways, I've got them in a really cute project bag with birds, yellow with birds and flowers. So that just makes me happy too. Kind of like it. I mean, yellow yarn, what kind of gold yarn? Yellow project bag. It's cute. So what is everybody else working on? If you're doing Sock Madness, I'm assuming Sock Madness is probably going to be your priority, but I don't know. I don't want to get too excited and thinking that I'm going to get Sock Madness socks done super early and then have lots of time, but I might or I might not. I'm always worried with Sock Madness that you're going to take all your pictures, you're going to send it in, attach your Ravelry page, and then they blow up your pictures and they check out everything and they're going to say you did this wrong. And like, oh, so I don't want to get too overly confident here. Did I read your second comment, Sam? I only read what I read out loud. I saw you had 32 dishcloths and about double knitting. Was there something else that I missed? That oh, oh, Sam. Oh, your shoulders. Well, then yep, definitely take a little bit of a break. Oh, I did see somebody had mentioned a massage, so that must have been for you if you've got a sore shoulder. Yes, just yeah, take a little bit of a break, do some stretches. I mean, we should all do some stretches, and that's also a good thing with Sock Madness when you've got we're gonna have like long days of knitting. It's always good. I always think of this. Remember doing this one here, any kind of anything just to stretch out and just yeah, just move your shoulders and breathe and just stretch everything all out, right? Ooh, Olafson, you're trying to teach yourself brioche. Oh, for the past 2 days, I plan to make my sister leg warmers. Oh my goodness, that would be so fun. So how are you finding it? Yeah. Oh, brioche leg warmers. They would be, see, again, soft and squishy and cozy and just really, really warm. Oh, Sam. My gosh. Yes, you just need to take care of yourself. Brioche is kind of confusing. What can I tell you just briefly? So you're doing said two color, right? And you're in the round. So I always tell my students, you always slip the single and you work the double stitch, the brioche stitch. So, and your double stitch should always be two colors. The stitch is one color, the yarn over on top of it is a different color. If they're both the same color, then you're knitting with the wrong color or knitting purling, whatever you're working. Um, when you're knitting brioche in the round, when you get to the very last stitch, every other round you're going to end with a slip yarn over. Just make sure that yarn over gets made and stays on the needle. That yarn over doesn't fall off as you're switching colors and slipping your marker and moving on to the next stitch. So when I do that very last stitch is a slip yarn over, I always cross my needles and or my yarn. Anytime you're switching colors with if it's color work, if it's brioche, always think old over new. Your old color, the color you're just finishing, cross it over top of your new color, pick up your new color from underneath and keep working. And that keeps that last yarn over when you cross your yarns over, that holds it on there so you don't lose that. If you come to where you should have a double brioche stitch, so you're going to either brioche knit it or brioche purl it. If it happens to be a single stitch, Don't panic. Just look at your work and you'll see where you have dropped that yarn over. It'll be sitting there in front of your work. So you have to slide the stitch off the needle. You have to pick up that horizontal strand, put that on your needle first, and then pick up your stitch, and then you can work them together. Use a lifeline because brioche knitting itself is easy, but if you do mess it up, the unknitting is the trickier part. So if you've got a lifeline in there and you know your stitches up until that point are correct, put a lifeline in. So just make sure you know what row of your pattern you're on there. And then as you knit up the next few rows, if you make a mistake somewhere, you can't fix it, just pull your needle out, unravel everything, and then pick up those stitches on the lifeline, and then you can start again. So highly suggest a lifeline for brioche, especially when you're getting started. So stick with it. I wish I could knit with you in person and get you going on it because it really is fun once you get going. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys, we are almost at 9 o'clock. My goodness, this Monday has flown by, but it's going to be a short week. So um I'm excited. It's gonna be a short week, but I have all this knitting to do, so those 2 things don't quite jive, but I'm hoping by next Monday I don't know. I would love to have the Sock Madness socks done by next Monday. That might be a bit of a stretch, but hopefully I'll have some significant work done on the Sock Madness socks next week. And maybe a little bit more. Maybe the brioche cowl will be finished. Maybe this hat will be cast on. How much I get done, I don't know, because I really wanna work on the Sock Madness socks. So, um, okay, oh, you can't imagine fixing a mistake. It's just okay, just a little bit quick about fixing a mistake. If you have to go backwards, just always think of your stitches as pairs. You've got the single stitch, you've got the double stitch. If you have to unknit, and I would suggest even if you have to go back 2 rounds, unknit every stitch. I wouldn't suggest just pulling out your needle and ripping out a couple of rows and then trying to pick up your stitches. I would unknit every stitch. If you've got a single stitch on your right hand needle, when you unknit it, it needs to become a double. So if it's a single, you're going to pick up down below, pick up 2 strands. If it's a double on the needle, you've got your stitch in the yarn over, just let that yarn over fall off and the stitch there was a single and you always slip the single, so don't unknit the single. Just slip it back and just keep going like that across your row. Okay, well, everybody, this has been a lot of fun. Sock Madness is here. I cannot wait to knit the sock and then cut it. That is so exciting. So I'll definitely show it all to you before it gets cut. And I can't tell you how excited I am to have Ravelry and my whiteboard completely up to date. That has never happened before. This is a first, and it feels really, really good to feel like I have everything all organized. So I'm gonna keep that up as the weeks go on throughout the year, and then have a really accurate recording of all of my knitting this year. It's gonna be a fun, fun project to keep up to date. Well, everybody, thank you so much for voting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. It's been so much fun chatting with you all. And happy knitting. We will catch up with you next Monday with, I think I already know what the project's going to be because it's still going to be Sock Madness. It's going to be a smaller project. So I've got a couple of ideas already for that. I'm going to go find yarn for this week's hat, though. I'm going to do that and I'll post a picture on Instagram and Facebook either tonight or tomorrow morning of what I find when I go through my stash here. So thank you guys so much. It's been a great start to the week, and we will chat with you all next Monday. Good night, everybody.